Good afternoon, everyone. This is theme 030. Assalamu alaikum to everyone. Back in 2016, we've submitted a design proposal for a building in Jakarta. As you can see on the screen, this is our building design. It's got green roof, angled facade, all those fancy stuff. And we remembered one of the design requirement was that the building material selection has to be sustainable materials. We know in theory what sustainable material is. We were fresh out of school, but we had no idea whatsoever about the local availability of these so-called materials. So we went to the internet looking for it. We looked for it in Google. We've asked people. We made a few calls, and it turns out the information was pretty scattered throughout the internet, books, literature, hard catalogs across offices in Jakarta. So we think, oh, maybe we can collect all these information into one single source platform, and it would help people like us, architects, fellow designers, building developers, to manage their carbon impact. This is the first step of doing what we need to do for the environment. And Indonesia, as a country, imported $30 billion worth of building material in 2014, which in turn inflicted 33% more transportation cost and 20% more embodied carbon. And we think this doesn't make any sense. It has to be the other way around. I mean, nobody in their right mind would pay extra money to release more carbon to the environment. It's just, it doesn't make sense. And we think by managing our carbon footprint in building materials, we could potentially lower building prices by reducing transportation costs, and we could boost the domestic trading value of local material market. So we see there's a capital gain here, and it's not just the capital gain that we're after, but we also know that this is a fight for the environment. We know that embodied carbon in building materials constitute 11% of the annual greenhouse gas emissions. This number may sound not that big, but in 30 years, it will be 30 times. So this is big. Moreover, Paris Agreement calls for openness in sustainability data. So this is something that we can help. This is something that we can do for the world government. We know there's a capital gain. We know that this is imperative for the environment. And we know that the world government is calling for us as a nation to do this. So the question is, why in Indonesia isn't anyone doing anything? It actually brings us back to 2016, where we were scattered throughout the internet looking for reliable information. So we did a little bit of analysis. If there is a carbon database and calculator and certification, how it would shake the industry up. And this is a little bit of network of building practitioners showing advantages, disadvantages, supply and demand between parties. I think the bottom line is, with information, building occupants can make informed decision. The assumption of sustainable building is pricey, unaffordable would be gone, because they now know the information, so they can make a better decision. Developers would know how to rake more profits from green infrastructure. Government would focus on regulating instead of building and building and building more infrastructure, because they know there's a local availability of materials, sustainable materials in Indonesia. And lastly, we can verify material suppliers of their materials, because oftentimes they claim that this material is low carbon, but we've never seen the product declaration. So we think by launching and promoting our own carbon material database and calculator, we could intervene this whole confusion about no information. And by the time people are using it, we can actually formalize it into certification, so people can be proud of their building. People can frame it and put it on their building. And the government would formalize it into their permit requirement process, into their tax break program, or maybe into their zone green incentives. And I know you may ask, okay, so you talk about database, single source information, but what does it look like? What is it all about? And we are very pleased today to show you the prototype that we've been working on. It's very easy to use. You just need a browser to access it. You just need to type it in. You don't need even to download the software. You don't need to be an expert to use this. You don't even need a passport to do this, because it's easy to use. And you can see all the materials here, the database, and it would hopefully help you in making an informed decision on selecting materials. But again, this is just the groundwork. we still need you to help us to make this happen. We need these people to collaborate with us and to help us in achieving our target, especially the NGOs such as the Angin Advisory, who would invest their time, who would be at least interested in investing their time and money, hopefully. And we need experts to know this, to let us know if this is working, to let us know if this even makes sense, to let us know if this is something that the industry needs, and to help us verify the databases that we get from suppliers, manufacturers, and hopefully that by then we could move forward to phase 2 and phase 3. In 5 years, we're confident that we can lower 30% of embodied carbon in building material by launching this platform of information. And we can save $6 billion worth of carbon footprint, which equals to tons of kilotons of carbon. And we could boost $15 billion worth of domestic building material market. It's a capital gain for the country and for local industries. And we're optimistic that we can do this because we're a team of 3 architects who has various skills and knowledge. One has specialty in urban design and planning. He knows the government like he knows his kid. Actually, he doesn't have a kid. We have one who's an expert in sustainability, and we have one who's an expert in business. But it doesn't matter how proficient we are if we can't get any help from you. Without your help, there would be no 700,000 EPD product database in 10 years. Without your help, there would be no 1 million new buildings certified low carbon. And without your help, there would be no 300 cities and municipalities that would implement the policy for their regencies. So really, we need your help to make this happen. Otherwise, the prototype, all those beautiful stuff would only be a remnant of the past. It would only sit in our laptop and it wouldn't help anyone doing anything. But with your help, we can do this, we can make this happen, and we can make the world a better place for us to live in the future. Thank you for listening in.